Up next, we have another very interesting and dynamic discussion on the topic redefining consumer journeys, embracing an omnichannel approach. As consumer behavior continues to evolve, this panel will explore how brands can adopt seamless omnichannel strategies to enhance engagement and loyalty. Everyone, please join me in welcoming our distinguished speakers. First up, we have Arpita Gandotra, AVP Marketing, Reliance Digital Retail Limited. Next up, we have Neha Rao, Vice President, Marketing, Bikaji Foods International. Karan Kumar, Chief Marketing Officer, Hero Realty. Nimish Agrawal, EVP and Chief Marketing Officer, Niva Bupa Health Insurance. And this panel will be moderated by Rahul Puri, founder and editor of Agency Reported. I request everyone to please come on stage. Everyone, please put your hands together for our incredible panelist. Let's get started.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for staying back, those who have. And one of those rare opportunities where I moderate a panel I usually don't. So this panel is all about redefining consumer journeys, embracing an omnichannel approach. Obviously, the panel talks about omnichannel approach of brands with me, brands sitting here, and brand custodians. Right from your left, Neha Rao from Bikaji, Nimish from Niva, Bupa, Karan from Hero Realty, and Arpita from Reliance, Reliance Digital Retail. With consumer journeys evolving beyond the traditional linear path, your expertise on how brands can adapt an omnichannel strategy will be invaluable. This session will highlight the importance of consolidating media buys across channels for a seamless, personalized experience that enhances engagement and strengthens brand loyalty by meeting consumers wherever they are. I'll quickly start with Karan. And Karan, you were from the real estate sector. You have previously also worked with DLF, where the consumer journey can be very long and complex. But how do you integrate digital and offline touchpoints to provide a seamless and engaging experience for your consumers?
Difficult question. Been asked before. I will try my best to give you an innovative answer. Unfortunately, some things will change, some things will not change. Thank you for asking it. Thank you everybody who's here in the audience for having stayed back, as Rahul mentioned. Anybody who has any idea about real estate knows this, that the journey is largely broken up into 3 or 4 phases, right? There is a pre-sales stage, there is a sales stage, and then there is the post-sales stage, right? And in each of these stages, you now see a whole lot of work that's happening at a multi-channel level. When you look at the pre-sales stage, and you can start pre-sales right from the starting of any kind of campaigns that you run. So obviously, counterintuitively, when you start running campaigns, there's a whole lot of integration that can happen on hyper-personalized discovery. Yeah? So all your campaigns can be customized to a certain degree, certain extent, which leads to, for example, the starting point that we discussed. In the discovery stage itself, outside of the campaigns, when people come into the project, into the property, of course, there is a physical interaction which is there. But there's a whole lot of a different world which can be brought alive through IR, VR, headsets, eyesets, etc., right? In fact, Rahul mentioned that I was in DLF for a while. Yes, I was. And I was in DLF around the time when we had COVID 1, 2, and 3. And during COVID 1, 2, and 3, when everybody was very, very scared about what is going to happen, product discovery happened through sets be sent to people's homes so that they could sit in their homes and realize and figure out how product discovery can happen. So they could actually visualize, walking in an apartment and seeing sunlight kahan se aati hai aur chidiyon ki awaaz kahan se sunai deti hai, right? So that's the level of integration that you can do at that stage. Once you've had conversations with people, then of course there is an element of technology and omnichannel that steps in, because using technology you can have customized conversations unique to everybody that you're conversing with, especially if you've had a conversation with them in the past. So every time you're having a following up conversation, people know what is the script, what was discussed earlier, what can be the next set of logical questions. With AI coming into the picture, with LLMs coming into the picture, your quality of questions also improve, right? It does not substitute the manpower or the woman power, but it improves on that. everything that you do thereafter in terms of follow-ups, whether it is at the CRM stage, whether it is at the stage of sending reminders, mailers, everything can be customized. So that's another, we all know this. Mass personalization has been a topic of discussion for the last 25 years. So I will repeat the same word again. At the end of 25 years, mass personalization is again something that happens and can continue to happen at scale. With AI, now the quality of personalization further improves than it was, let's say, 15 years ago. Yeah. So that's the part that happens there. And then at the end, when you've already made the sale, when you've already closed the deal, as it were, your interactions that happen thereafter in the post-sales period, whether it's got to do with you expecting the payments that you're supposed to receive at the end of every milestone, you sending out certain reminders, you sending out certain engagements, all of that also gets highly enabled by a tech-first kind of an infrastructure. Outside of all of this, of course, there are a whole lot of events that can happen. So events which used to happen first in the physical world, then in the digital world, then this beautiful word called the phygital world. Yeah? So there is literally no dearth of how both the ecosystems can be combined to collide, and to collide in a very constructive kind of a manner, both for the brand, the business, as well as for the consumer or the audience.
Thanks, Karan. That was very elaborative. Moving on to Arpita, with your omnichannel approach, how do you measure the impact of in-store experiences on digital sales and vice versa, ensuring that both channels complement rather than compete with each other?
So let me start with consider a person, the customer walks into the store and he's greeted by an executive, and the executive just takes his name and looks at him, and in 5 minutes he has his own history of what he's purchased some time back, what he wants to purchase, what he has been looking for, and he starts recommending that to the customer. Now, that is not future, that is present. This is already in pace, what we are already following. So this is how we have moved further in the years, where the journey with AI has started. Coming to O2O, which is offline to online or online to offline, it is, omnichannel is an ecosystem. They have to complement each other. Whatever is happening online will have to happen online, offline, and vice versa. It is very imperative. What really drives this? One is customer insights. Second is technology, which plays an immense role. And third is the customer journey and tracking of the customer, whatever he's doing at what point in time. Whether he's searching for a product, whether he's buying it from the store, whether he's just giving his feedback, giving reviews. So this is a whole ecosystem. In terms of measuring, still we are, I think, at a very, very nascent stage, and as AI progresses, I'm sure we'll come back with much better ways to measure this. But as of right now, we have many measurements criteria, starting with as basic as the POS system, where you capture the customer's name and number and his loyalty details, and everything gets uploaded onto the online system as well. So as and when he's either tracking or searching something online, the data flows into the offline stores, and if he's buying something or asking something offline, it flows into the online. And there are a lot of tools available today. Things like Clever Tap, I think all of you must, whoever's using digital must be using it. So Clever Tap is very, very important. There's a new tool which is called, Click to WhatsApp. So that is something CTW, which we are using immensely. And it's really helped us, because if a customer walks into a store, he just has to scan a QR code, and everything he's looking for goes online, and then he starts getting personalized messages or offers onto his phone, which he can then redeem wherever he wants. RCS is one more technology that is coming, fast growing now. So there are lots of things that are coming now, and it's getting easier by the day to measure online to offline, which was nearly impossible at some point in time. Yeah.
And interestingly, all of you consumers, the gestation period before they buy your products varies a lot. In Karan's case, maybe it's 3 to 4, 5 months. Arpita's case, maybe it's about a week, 10 days. In your case, Nimish, I think you'll have to tell us, I think it's about maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks or maybe years, I don't know, months, I don't know. But in your space, in your health insurance space, how do you utilize an omni-channel approach to simplify that journey while educating and building trust with your potential customers? Because a lot of education goes on in your space.
True. Thank you, Rahul. I think for somebody who's moderating for the first time, you're doing a fab job.
It's not the first time, I do it rarely. Not the first time.
Okay. So you should do it more often in that case. Okay, so there are two things which are important. One is content, second is context. If content is the king, context is the company that the king keeps. It's the council of ministers. So to deploy omnichannel, what's very important is what's the context in which the consumer requires help. I'll give you two examples to kind of elucidate my point. If the consumer is on search and looking for best health insurance, he's essentially looking for trust markers. So our search ad, the landing page, if you go to Niva, Bupa, we say, very proudly say, the best health insurance by Mint 2024, so many million customers. There are different landing pages for different kind of keywords. Because the context is the consumer is searching best health insurance and they're looking for trust markers, right? If somebody is on YouTube and asking for best health insurance, they want content which helps them compare between different health insurance. That's a 7-minute video, right? So that's one example. The second example is omnichannel also requires us to seamlessly blend different touch points. It's an IVR, an email, a chatbot, a search, a YouTube, a display, a web, at least these channels, right? It could be a few more that we are trying to do, not that we've reached there, but one of the things that we try and do is try and build some bit of consistency in the way we deploy content and context. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, very well articulated. We'll move to Neha now. Neha, for a brand like Bikaji, which has very deep cultural roots, and you have a very authentic brand story to tell. How do you do that through multiple channels? And what's your traditional media to digital platform strategy?
So yeah, I mean, I was looking at everybody else's timelines. Ours is probably seconds in terms of decisions, consumer decisions, especially, and we talk about it often, right? We have impulse packs and family packs, right? Now, impulse packs 5-10. Sorry. So impulse packs are about 5-10 rupees, and primarily the industry is at about 70-30 when we call between the family packs and that. For us, it's 50. Now, and for any company, the larger packs will always be a better bet in general overall in terms of, margins and all of that. We very proudly try and make sure that our ratio remains healthy, and in fact, we were talking about it earlier. Last 6 months, the demand, has increased a little bit. Sales have gone up, but it's all being pushed by the impulse packs. Family packs are urban demands, not as fast and all of that. For us, the good thing that's happened, I think, in the past 2 to 3 years has been the rise of quick commerce, right? A lot of us weren't digital first. And I think a lot of brands like ours have actually entered the digital space via the e-commerce and quick commerce channels, not ours, right? And they've made our life really easy. If you look at us, we are traditional, general trade market setups. Our distribution systems are set up like that. None of us were ready for that. The reason we had our own e-commerce usually was that if somebody is willing to wait a while and we have loyalists, we reach out to them. And people who don't want to step out to buy it, but never really pushed it in a big way. It was more like it's available if you want it, right? And then came this whole wide range of, Dunzo's not there anymore, but Zepto and Dunzo, where everybody sort of, and look, in an industry where single digits have sort of, we've been hitting normal double digits, but this year's been tough for everyone. And suddenly the Zepto numbers, while the base is low, are growing at 30, 40%. And our industry is a little higher than their general growth. So what's happened is they've really helped us change the game internally. So that's been our digital foray, honestly. So while we've been there on everything else, in terms of the omni-channel approach, e-commerce and quick commerce have really helped brands like ours. And how it's supportive is, look, we're legacy brands and they're also new age brands. Today, it's a fair gameplay on quick commerce. Whoever is ready to do more, faster, and be available is the guy winning. And you have a lot of examples like Beyond Snacks. I mean, there are brands who are only catering to the quick commerce channels and building almost an ARR of 100 crores, and which is not, you don't think of that. I mean, all of us have not built revenue channels on the digital front for sure. And I think this has helped brands like ours, not just to learn this, but overall understand how important not as a revenue channel, but really to be available to the customer is. So we got into WhatsApp marketing and ordering after quick commerce, when you've realized that, look, there's a reason why people want you. Today, a customer doesn't want to order us even from an Amazon with a good discount because we're getting, he's getting us right now. So you might have a 15% off there, but they want it from a Zepto because it's just fast and now. So for us, that's really, brands like ours, I think, have learned a lot to be agile, how to get to the consumer faster. And we might have also missed the mobile bit in that sense, which for us, I think now, in hindsight, seems good because we've jumped the gun to these. So we've seen that for us in a big way. And from the advertising front, we're still fairly television heavy. But again, perspective. My digital spends on quick commerce and e-commerce are higher than my digital spends on the brand. So if I were to give you a split, that's way higher than what I'm doing independently for the brand. So, yeah.
Wherever the sale happens, I think you need to spend more money there. Arpita, what role, you've spoken about AI already, but what role does tech and AI in general, automation, right, all these play in streamlining your omni-channel strategy, to enhance customer experience and satisfaction?
So let me break this down, not just for customer satisfaction, into three parts. First is, of course, the customer. So he does have a seamless journey because now with AI, there's a lot of predictive, everything is coming to the company as well as to the customer directly. So as and when he wants, if he's looking for something, he'll start getting offers for those. It'll start following him everywhere. So for him, life has in a way become easier because he is getting a lot of information through it. So that's the first part. Second part is for the company, I think, which we mostly miss out of. I think it's been very, very good in terms of the brands because it helps you optimize your operation cost. It helps you do the forecasting for you. It helps you optimize in your inventory. So that piece is very important in today's time because earlier, these were things that were being done manually and were not even as accurate. But in today's time, that accuracy level has increased, has improved. So especially, I'll tell you what happens in the omni-channel. Like we have stores as well as we have online. Now the warehouses are one. It is not as if it's two warehouses. Now before AI, there used to be a lot of confusion of where what will go, whether inventory was falling short. But with coming of AI, what has started happening is it started becoming very seamless and the shortfalls or the wrong decisions have stopped or have really been mitigated. So that is the second part for the company. The third part is in terms of a marketer. Now for a marketer, omni-channel has really, with AI, it's become more seamless in terms of one messaging. Now that one messaging is being personalized to each and every customer, but with the language remaining the same or the guidelines remaining the same. So that has really, really helped a lot of marketing for all of us. And it's become much more easier because...
But why don't you have customized messaging for all your omni-channel platforms? Does that not result in repetition of your message? Like I'm reading the same message on my WhatsApp, same on my email.
No, so it's getting customized now. So if you are looking, for example, if you're looking for a phone and you are searching online for a phone. So that is the data I would anyway get. So I start sending you a message on your WhatsApp or on your mail saying that this is the offer or whatever you will get. So anyway, and then you go to another medium and you look for a TV. So you will get from another medium, you'll start getting messaging for that. But it could be a variation in mediums also, depending where you're looking for that thing. You might get a call from the store saying that, sir, are you looking for a TV? So maybe that's where AI is helping us. It's segregating it and giving personalized message. So you might get a 20% discount, whereas somebody else who's maybe looking for a high-end TV or something, he might get a more customized offer. Maybe a 1+1 or an offer or whatever is the best possible.
That's one on TV, I think. Great stuff.
Well, it does happen. In times it does happen, yeah. But
Going back to Neha now. Neha, how do you balance the need for scale in digital channels with the importance of maintaining a personal connection with customers in an omni-channel strategy? Now, you can't control your customer journey on platforms like Zepto and Blinkit, but does omni-channel play a bigger role here doing that?
For us, not as much, but you know what happens is you can control certain journeys, even with the platforms, of course. In a good way, they're already controlling the journeys and they're doing a fair job of it. For me, of course, it's primarily about brand recall and all of that with them. For us, omni-channel, no. I mean, I would not say so, only because our customer connect isn't as connected, to say the least, only on the digital front. Everything else is extremely, how do you say it? I don't want to call it analog, but it's really at the store level. That too, not owned stores. You see, at my own stores level, it's really seamless, can be done really well. But I am, in over 2 lakh stores across the country. And for brands like mine, we still have a largely state-led presence, not absolutely divided, because the businesses were divided earlier in such a way that our competition brands had some states where they were more distinct, and similarly for us. So no, not as much, but I think on our own journey, it's been really helpful, rewarding, to say the least. Like I said, past 3 to 4 years for us have been where we've started, about some time ago, all of these legacy brands thought of their distributors as their customers. The cognizance of the end customers come in fairly late. So the good part now is because things have moved so fast for us, there is the journey which is already happening, and that's something we can't particularly control. On the digital front, we really started doing a lot more, base level but very connected. So in terms of making sure that everywhere that we are digitally, the consumer has a very direct connect to the brand. You talk about social channels, you talk about WhatsApp marketing, and secondly, like I said, all of the quick commerce, we've made sure, and even there, for example, digital's really helped, they have a lot of DCs across to make sure that, we're never short. You will rarely find it a case where we're sold out. And that's something where we've used digital to help us a lot in terms of forecasting with these guys. It's always with the platforms, but it's been working on a great way. Similarly for, today Flipkart service is about 10,000 PIN codes. Nobody else in the country is doing as much. So the numbers are fairly large there, and these are places where we've really controlled using, in fact, AI's come in only about a year and a half ago. But I think 2 years down is when we're looking at what numbers are going to be. That's somewhere we're seeing a lot of help coming in, but not on the general front much. Only consumer offers are the only way we've managed to stay connected with the end customer for most of brands like us.
Sure, there's a long road ahead. My second last question to Nimish, and then last will be to Karan. Nimish, I want to talk about digital first health solutions, right? How do you balance technological advancements with the need for human interaction in providing a holistic omni-channel experience to your consumers?
See, what we've done, Rahul, is that we've divided interactions into 2 broad buckets. One is interaction wherein a human is not required. It is essentially information gathering. How can I get my tax statement for ATD benefit? How do I find hospital in my locality? what is the best plan for me to an extent. These are conversations wherein we have trained a lot of data. We run a very large call center, close to about X people, and we have access to about 2.5 lakh calls every month. Now that is a very, very good data for us to build our recommendation engine on product and automate a lot of information, because essentially if a call is about 30 minutes between a customer and a telecaller, about 15 to 18 minutes is about this rudimentary information gathering, where we don't want to involve a human being. That's how we want to leverage the technology. But when it comes to claims, when it comes to somebody is hospitalized, is unable to find his card, somebody is not getting discharged, doctor is saying something, not sure, is where we get human involved. This is one cost that we cannot get away with and we don't want to. So that's the difference between how are we using what is available in the tech and what is available in our civilization, which is empathy and heart. The second aspect is we have built a large amount of offering on our app ecosystem. As health insurance beyond your family and mother, nobody is as interested in keeping you healthy as your health insurance. Wife, yeah. We don't want you to get sick, because if you get sick, you'll have to pay claims, right? So we have built a very large ecosystem on app, which ensures that you don't fall sick. It keeps you healthy, there are step-sing, there is guided meditation, there is yoga with celebrities, and so on and so forth. Now that is where we are driving a lot of adoption. The penetration is not great in our own policyholder base, and it's a very well kept secret that health insurance companies also have a wellness ecosystem. Now that's something that we're trying to push over the next couple of years.
Oh, well, Karan, a lot of people think Karan is a great visionary. We ask a lot of futuristic questions to him, like how do you envision omni-channel strategies in the next, let's say, a decade or so, with the advancements of AI, data analytics, and immersive tech like AR, VR. What do you think will be the biggest shift in how brands engage with consumers across channels?
Yeah, but this is total random question, okay? Just because I have white hair doesn't mean that you can ask me the most
I
future-
have seen in a lot of panels, people ask you like these questions where you have to answer what's going to happen after a decade.
बस ठीक है, तब तक तो see, okay, so on a more serious note, and I'll build on to what he was saying, right? There are things that we can predict and therefore automate in terms of responses and transactions, where obviously machines, learnings, LLMs, chatbots, this is the oldest thing, WhatsApp chatbot is the oldest thing we started 10 years ago, right? And then there are things that will require human interventions, right? For example, what he said, if you need to have somebody at a checkout stage, how do you have a physical body person there to do that? I think the important part for all of us to figure out is that between these two things, where there is a human being and a machine involved, there is a third element. There is a third dimension. And that third dimension is what the human being can do better leveraging AI. Okay? People who will be the future forward face of workforce are not people who will replace AI or compete with AI. People who will be successful in the long run are people who will know how to work with AI, leverage AI to outperform somebody else who does not know how to work with AI and how to leverage AI. So if he can work with AI and leverage AI better than I can, I will be redundant. And vice versa. Right? I think that's the part that we need to understand the best. That's the part we need to understand the most. AI has been around. LLMs have become is a more recent entry. Therefore, everybody is talking about AI now. AI has existed for the last 15, 20 years. Yeah? 20 years ago on panel discussions, we used to discuss IoT. And we used to discuss how your refrigerator can auto-order supplies of groceries which are running short in your fridge. So AI तो है. बड़े दिनों से. I think the LLMs have made it more sexy and fashionable of that conversation today. And I will say this again. I say this to my wife, since I was pulling his leg. And I'll say this to my mother. Don't live in denial of AI. You need to figure out what is the best prompt engineering that you can do to leverage. The person who will win is the person who will work better through AI rather than somebody who feels threatened by AI or lives in denial of AI. So that's one part of the answer. The other part of the answer is harmonize. The more you can get systems to do predictive stuff, the better you are freeing up bandwidth of people to actually invest that bandwidth into AI-related works. Yeah. So I think for me, the future, whether it is in real estate or any other space, is going to be on how can you have personalized engagements and not just transactional selling. It's a very old jargon, ना? कोई नया नहीं है इसके अंदर. 20 साल पहले भी बोलते थे. Transactions versus personal engagements. But the personal engagements now have become that much more, or can be made that much richer and more meaningful than earlier what personal engagements meant. And earlier personal engagement क्या होता था? That instead of sending one letter to 1,000 people, we will now write, Dear Mr. So-and-so. So because we put a surname there in the first word, we have done personalized marketing. I'm saying the world has moved far, far beyond that. Beautiful example that he gave, and something I'm so glad he brought out, was that when you are doing landing pages, you need to build different landing pages so that people working on different search words land on a landing page relevant and appropriate for that search word. And ये नहीं कि आप 50 search words पे campaign चला रहे हैं, landing page एक है. How many people do this? It's counterintuitive. So AI तो दूर की बात है, basics के पहले कर लें. But since you asked me a white-haired question, that is my answer.
That was a wonderful answer, Karan. Thank you so much for being very honest about that. It's very relieving to know that AI is not going to take our jobs, but we all knew that already. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Nimish. Thank you, Karan. And thank you, Arpita, for your time and wonderful energy. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, all of you. It was indeed an enriching discussion. I would request everyone to please stay on stage as we have small token of appreciation for each one of you. Everyone, please put your hands together for this amazing panel and our panelists.
So speak to the promoter's daughter and son. Maybe more receptive to any of these things that...